this is where my real beef with social media was. Mm-hmm. March of 2020, I started to see so much division, so much anger, so much hate, and I opted out. So I got completely off. I deleted it from my phone. They changed the password. I didn't know how to even get on it. And I think my last post was me walking out by the river and saying, what happened if you just reconnected with nature for a minute, you know? So I was like, that was my message. But my real issue, even more than that, was what I want is shared moments. And I already have enough difficulty staying present because my mind is very active. Like, how many conversations do we have in 1 hour? You know,
it's dizzying.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, we'll loop back to that eventually because my mind went squirrel. So if all of a sudden I'm having a great moment and it's like, oh, wait, we need to take a picture or film a video, I feel like it takes me out of the moment.
It does.
And so I was like, how do I have shared moments on social media without destroying my shared moments in person? So last night's the perfect example. We're driving and Carrie tells us the story. And it's so hilarious because, you know, me even talking about Burning Man on social media is a breakthrough in as ridiculous as it sounds. Because I grew up, my Italian side of the family, super Catholic. The other side of the family, Mormon, right? And so I grew up in Utah where it's like, if I swear, am I going to lose business? Am I going to be judged? Are they going to think less of me? And so, like, Burning Man is seen by a lot of people as this hedonistic, crazy, orgy fest, right?
Yep.
Well, we have all our Burning Man stuff out at the house. Our house is the house that the kids come and hang out with Roman. And so they ask what it is. He says it's stuff for Burning Man. They look up Burning Man on the internet, and they go, your parents are weird. Are they doing orgies? Roman's crying to my wife, like, in tears.
Kid.
He's like, "What are you?
Why are you guys
so
doing
weird
this?"
and all this?" So we're laughing about the story last night, and so it was just easy to go make a post because I was like, "Here's my expression. We have this thing called the roast. It's a coffee cart that I can roast people while I make them coffee, and we're excited to take it to Burning Man." And I've never seen the orgy tent. You know?
And again, it's just such a small component of what Burning Man is. You know, you look at the art installations, you look at the expression, you look at the connection of community.
Right.
Like, it's this really beautiful premise. But again, you know, the world will project
and
what it wants to.
And if people want to go be part of the orgy, they gotta go be part of the orgy. It's not my job to be the moral police of what's right or wrong, because what do I know? I have continued to evolve in my thinking as time goes on and realized what I thought was right and wrong in my 20s was limited thinking, was a constraint and judgment that came from fear, not from love.
You were playing not to lose. And because of that, you allowed the world to project their like vision onto you, and you kind of you just kind of bent to it, right?
Yeah, I went to this event years ago, and they had this exercise where they stand you in front of a semicircle of about 8 people. Someone asks you a question, you answer it for like, I don't know, a minute, and then they get to give you the negative feedback of what their thinking is of who you are. Right?
Interesting.
And this is like something we talked about this week. So they said, talk about you as a father. And at the time, I just really transformed and invested so heavily in my kids. And then I finished and someone's like, you're a terrible father. You're checked out. All you care about is business and all this. And like, no reaction. Because I was like, whatever. Like, hey, if you're enjoying this video, well, I've got some good news for you. I've got a gift, actually 2. If you go to garrettgunderson.com/offer, it's a free offer to give you 2 of my books, Killing Sacred Cows, a New York Times bestseller. You've been hit the #1 on Wall Street Journal. And my most popular book of all time, What Would the Rockefellers Do? My gift to you, complimentary, so you can dive in deeper on the topics you're learning here at your own pace. Then they asked me some question, and I remember this girl is like angrily shaking her head and like just like digging into me. And the whole time I'm like, this bitch, like I'm just so judgmental. And I remember her final words, and she goes, and when I'm around you, I just feel judged. I was like, holy shit, I judged her the entire time she was speaking. So no wonder she feels judged. Because everything was, what am I doing better than them? It was this game of comparison. It's the game of like, I've got to get what I can because I'm in the consumer condition of scarcity where it's all a tug of war and everyone's against each other. And that's what the world's trying to feed right now. Absolutely. We have way more in common than we have, like
100%.
Again, but it's like, let's hit the hot button issues.
Yeah.
Here's the thing that's going to divide people.
Yeah.
It's like, come on.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter if you have different political views or whatever the case may be. I guarantee you, if you spend enough time with someone, you will find a common thread, regardless of all the divisiveness, where you guys are completely in alignment.
And if you love yourself enough, you'll find a way to love people that you completely disagree with.
Absolutely.
If you don't love yourself enough, whatever you hate in them is something that you haven't accepted in yourself.
Yeah.
That's a tough one to swallow.
It is.
I hate when I know that's going on. Like I know what's going on. I just want to be childish right now. I just want to be immature, but no, I have to play. But I'm playing more and more mature at the same time. And I think that why is it that play gets removed from us is I think it's competition. I think it's, hey, you better protect and take care of, or you better grow or die. It's one of those two. And then we just get caught up in that trap. And then all that gets crowded out. So a point that I really want to make here is when we skip the steps of finding a career that speaks to who we are, because we get into the world of consumption. And look, when I started in finance, there was a guy that told me, you should buy a BMW before you can afford it. It'll motivate you to work.
The whole extreme manifestation.
And I was a miser. He might as well punch me in the throat because I was like, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I was like, I'm living in a basement of my
But then you bought a Bentley, right?
Yeah, 10 years wore off, like eventually. It's amazing I'm still married after my Bentley phase. True asshole. Like I get like some people love cars. I just did it because my partners were like, dude, you gotta drive a nicer car than our secretary. I'm like, they're like, what do you like? This is how much thought I put into that. Didn't know my win. I was in Scotland with my dad, where I retired from golf. The reason I retired from golf is on the 10th hole of the King's course in Glen Eagles, the caddy, I go, what club should I use? He goes, I think any will do. Oh. It's like, yeah, from the tee, I could use a putter and still be just as good. And so I said, are you cool if I just stop now?
Like, yes, great. I am. Yes,
so I retired at that point, but we were at this place where there was a Jaguar convention, right? So there's just all these Jaguar cars everywhere. And a dude drove in a Bentley, and 100 people descended upon him. So that was the entire thinking of getting a Bentley.
I want that, yeah.
I was like, cool, I'll get the Bentley. Yeah. So I get the Bentley, drive it to my hometown, and they just thought there was something wrong with my Chrysler 300 grill. They're like, what's wrong with this thing? I'm like, what do you mean? And my partners said we would attract clients. We were crushing it with 16-year-old boys. They definitely wanted to take a picture by the car. That was about it.
And I'm sure they could afford the large service retainers and the fees and all of that.
And as I think it was probably, I was a 28-year-old man. My wife, we're driving to Thanksgiving. We get to my parents' house and she goes to hand me her soda. I didn't quite grab it yet, so it just falls into the Bentley. 30 ounces of Coke or whatever. And I yelled at her. And then she goes, I'm going in and telling your mom. And I was like, please don't. Like a child. Like I said, oh, my mom's going to beat my ass. I'm 28 years old. So that was my Bentley phase.
Yeah.
Didn't know my win. Someone else defined it for me. Drive this car. And by the way, when I posted that picture of that car on the Salt Flats for this article, the most stupid things I've ever said in print in this article.
Really? Like
Prosperity Lifestyle magazine. I don't know what it was. It's like, I said, you know what? I've just made so much money. I have so much cash flow off my real estate. I'm now here to give back.
Oh, you were that guy.
And then the universe was like, we're just going to take that all from you in 2008 because you're such a douche. That didn't know my win, right? Just went after like, this is what I think people want to see from me. And when I posted that picture on social media, someone told me I look like a pretentious douche. And I did. So there's just, And that was, again, someone saying, oh, you need to display wealth. And this is the problem. People displaying wealth, but they're broke when it comes to their spirituality, their emotional well-being, their quality of life, because everything is hollow based upon, look at me and what I have, but they don't have love for themselves. They don't know their win. They're simply suffering every single day saying, will you accept me because I have these things? But what that does is push people away.
Absolutely.
Hope you enjoyed What's Your Win. For me, it's discovery on a daily basis, getting more clear about what to remove from my life, what to embrace, and define the rules of the game from my perspective. I want you to do that in your own life. So dive into yet another episode so you can get clear about your win, remove the obstacles and distractions, and have a better life and win before you begin.